flying in or out of major airports on the east or west coast, you've likely already seen evidence of the problem and didn't even realize it. Water on or beside runways or taxiways, even on sunny days. Large puddles in front of active gates. Cracks and broken pavement. Different levels of concrete where the ground underneath is moving.
So those are runways.
Dr. Manucher Shirzai and his team analyzed and color-coded precise satellite data that measures this ground movement.
So the red is
not
going
good. Going down. It's bad.
By analyzing 30 years worth of that satellite data, Shirzai's Earth Observation and Innovation Lab team at Virginia Tech found that more than a dozen major airports around the country are sinking.
For example, this is San Francisco, right? And look at all the red there.
We see majority of these airports experiencing downward motion or differential motion.
The technical name for this sinking, it's called subsidence,
which has implication for the safety of the runways and maintenance costs.
Take a look at some of the satellite radar readings showing airports Boston to Newark, Miami to Fort Lauderdale, Philadelphia to LaGuardia, LAX to San Diego. Shirzai's team examined more than 24 different airports located along the coast. The team found some issues with all but 2 of those airports. The airports with the most significant issues: San Francisco, Tampa, Seattle, Portland, New York's John F. Kennedy, and Washington's Reagan National Airports.
What are the implications for these airports sinking?
It means quite a bit of maintenance costs, but also running airplanes on a tarmac with the engine on, waiting for the drying. The runway may add additional cost.
But it's not just sinking. It's the fact that this satellite data shows parts of these airports are moving, either sinking or rising, at different rates. That can cause this: standing water, cracked and uneven pavement, broken pipes, and potholes. We looked through 15 years of NTSB investigation reports and found at least 8 instances across 5 states, mostly involving small aircraft, where potholes or sinkholes were blamed for causing accidents on runways.
Ground subsidence and movement so impact safety and future planning that Shirzai and his team have actually briefed the Department of Defense on the issue. What are the implications for safety?
I don't want to be dramatic and scare people, but there are possibilities that specifically when runways are wet and don't dry rapidly, airplane, specifically big airplane that needs a significant amount of friction to brake and longer runways to stop, may run into trouble.
There are limits to how uneven concrete can be.
American Airlines Captain Dennis Tager is concerned that any sinking, cracking, flooding, or uneven pavement that comes along with subsidence might impact aircraft safety.
While I'm landing or taking off at a very fast speed, is there an uneven point where I hit it, like your car, and then shudder and damage to my gear or a tire blows out?
In fact, this study of airport runways shows that rough runways can damage and shorten the life of an aircraft. It can decrease stability and can even make commonly used aborted takeoffs and landings, called go-arounds, more dangerous.
Your investigation has exposed to me just how serious this is.
A spokesman for the Allied Pilots Association, the union that represents 15,000 American Airlines pilots, Tager compares sinking runways and taxiways to bad pavement on the highway. The difference is airplanes are heavier and traveling at much higher speeds than cars.
It's just like your road's coming apart. But the difference is we're traveling when we hit the ground or on takeoff at near 200 miles per hour. So when you hit an unlevel lip on the concrete, like your car, the faster you're going, the more damage it can do.
As for water on or around runways and taxiways, while airplanes are designed to operate in the rain, Tager says standing water can reduce what he calls safety margins for high-speed air operations.
That can affect our stopping distance. It can affect our controllability. So it's a cascading effect of the narrowing of the margin.
In fact, sinking airports have already had an impact. Hawaii's Kona International had to close and cancel 26 flights while workers repaired a crack and pothole that developed in the runway. New Orleans Armstrong International has spent about $500,000 fixing issues related to sinking there, though an airport spokesperson says that's to be expected.
Yes, we have settlement. no, it's not a problem. Particularly, for the traveling public, the apron is in outstanding shape. The connections to the runway to the airfield are in great shape.
San Francisco International has spent another $500,000 and has had to close portions of its runways for at least 90 days since 2016, resulting in at least 1,100 canceled flights and 13,000 delays. All of it, Captain Tager says, seemingly small issues that indicate a bigger problem that now has his attention.
You as a pilot give it your attention because a bunch of small things add up and suddenly it's a tidal wave. But what concerns me the most is we're in unprecedented territory.
Unprecedented, Tager says, because this uneven sinking now impacts so many airports all over the country, descending with consequences for the future of aviation.